everybody. I am AKA Heather Joy. You guys have just boarded the lifeboat. I just want to welcome everybody. I I got about 2 hours of sleep last night, and I tried to sleep this morning, and they decided to do construction next door. Since I live in a row of 6 townhouses, so I'm surrounded on either side with people. Yeah, that woke me up, and then I did a couple things, and I went to lay down again, and then the kids next door, while their mother's at work, when they come home from school, and they're little turds sometimes, and they kept banging on my door. I don't know. Anyway, I'm really tired, guys. I'm not going to do my best. And why is he calling me right now? Okay, get rid of that. Okay. Before I do anything else, I have something I want to show you guys. As most of you know, my husband and I are chicken farmers. We have a buttload of chickens, and for the most part, our chickens, are for food, for food. The eggs and the meat, all the extra roosters that we end up with, we eat those. Anyway, my husband and I we have the craziest flocks you've ever seen. There we have a little bit of everything. I kid you not, a little bit of everything. And I love the ornamental chickens, like the silkies and the frizzles and everything. And there's a special breed that is one of my favorites, and they are called Russian Orloffs, and they're a little bit rarer, and I have no idea how we've been able to get our hands on some. But I meant to have the picture pulled up to show you. I have one adult Russian Orloff, and her name is Kira. And anyway, my husband, look what he got. I gotta show you guys. Come here, baby. He found some more Russian Orloffs. Look at these sweet little things. These little girls. Isn't she just so cute? They have the feathers on their cheeks are puffy, and it just gives them the cutest faces, whether they're babies or adults, and they're extremely intelligent. I gotta show you this one. Come here. Let's show everybody how cute you are. Isn't she just gorgeous? I just love these little ladies. They have, rather round heads and puffy cheeks and short little beaks, and they're just so cute. My little Kira, my adult one, she's 2 years old now. Very smart chicken. Anyway, I will be right back. Let me go put them back in their box. All right, guys. Sorry, I know that was bad form to do that, to just leave you guys, but I just wanted to show you some of the things that make me so happy. The animals give me so much joy. And I have 3 of my chickens. They are all silkies, and there are 3 of them that are actually registered as emotional support animals for me. But they really are. They do so much for me. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. I was so excited that he found those for me. I'll have to, I need to make a video out at the farm and show you a bunch of the ornamental chickens that I have out there, because I have a few of the Polish. Those are the ones with the big fluffy feathers on their heads, you know, that looks like when they're little babies, they look like Tina Turner wannabes. I have a black and white one. She's like completely black, but her head feathers are white. And then I have one that's kind of a, I don't even know what to call her. I'll have to show you guys, but they are so fun and I just love them. And yeah, I love it when I go out to the farm and, you know, there are just some chickens that I have a special relationship with and they just come running up to me and it just melts my heart. I love it. I love it. I have to have something to baby, you know, now that all of our children are grown and gone, you know, and I don't get to see the grandkids all that much. So animals are a big deal to me. Anyway, let's see. First things first, I need to go over the rules, and I've been working on a little video very similar to Tommy's to use at the intro, but I'm not done yet. Anyway, so the rules, okay. We don't discuss politics on here. Though this is not a religious channel, very often in the chat you will see people saying things like, you know, I couldn't have made it here without my faith, or sorry, just you're going to hear people talk, or, you know, people will offer to pray for one another, things like that. That's fine. But if you get into the areas of saying things, how does Tommy put it? My God is better than your God, or you're not going to get into heaven because of that, you know, none of that, guys. Okay. None of that. Please refrain from cursing in the chat, as Tommy says, and I think I agree with him on this too, is that, you know, if you can't control your tongue, then you are not able to control your life. And I think I agree with him on that one. So please refrain from cursing. And then also, you know, please refrain from being mean. You know, people come to this channel for support, and, you know, there's a lot of love and a lot of hope in this channel. You know, addiction and recovering from addiction are not easy things. And, you know, maintaining that sobriety is it's all very difficult. You know, we come here to build each other up, to help one another. So, you know, please, you know, trolls are not welcome and they will be banned. So anyway, those are our rules. And what else did I need to tell you guys about? Tommy's just got a lot of things he's taking care of this afternoon. He's been very busy. I'm sure he'll fill you in later, but anyway, I wanted to talk today about rewiring your brain to be positive. You know, but as addicts, you know, there's everything about addiction, you know, in the end is negative and it's destructive. It just, you know, it destroys our self-esteem. It destroys, you know, our ability to think positively at all, you know. So when you decide you want to quit whatever, you know, whether you're drinking or ingesting some kind of drugs, or if it's some kind of behavior, you know, that you're addicted to, it is all destructive. And when you get to that point where you just can't stand another minute of living like that, and you make that decision for sobriety, you know, it's not easy, especially at the beginning. You know, you've been, you've slid into some habits and some patterns that are, that have a very strong neural pathway in your brain, and it's very difficult at first to break out of that, but you can definitely do that. So I wanted to talk to you guys about some of the things that, you know, that help help rewiring your brain, you know, helping you to think on new neural pathways, and you know, the more times you engage in a behavior, or you have a specific thought, the more often you have that, um, the stronger that neural pathway in your brain becomes for that. Um, sorry, let me have a drink here. Uh, the first thing that I feel is probably one of the most important things when you're trying to rewire your brain is practicing gratitude. And when I say practicing gratitude, that means, that's something that you need to do over and over and over again, um, to change how you're thinking, to change how you're feeling, and it's it's a very, very powerful one, and I'm amazed just how, such a simple thing as practicing gratitude, just how powerful and healing it really can be. So that's where I want to start. um I found this new article, about research, that I have never seen before, that I found it out of Psychology Today, and gave me some really good new information. I really like that. Um, I find myself, I'm an empath. I can very often feel what the emotions of the people that are next to me. Especially if they are powerful emotions, then I can really feel them, and it's very, if someone is crying, if I'm speaking to someone and they start to cry, oh, the waterworks start right up. It's just, it. But I find that, being around people that are negative and that are very ungrateful, I find that they're very taxing. As far as it just it steals my energy. For one thing, I just feel very, very taxed, when I have to be around people like that. It really does, have a big impact on me. And I don't have that many very close friends that I hang out with or do things with. And that's probably one of the reasons. Um, anyway, I found a lot of information that I had never seen before. And I really want to share that with you guys. But, um, it's gratitude at first is a difficult thing, especially when you are coming out of addiction, because addiction really is such a self-centered behavior. And, you just to be able to, um, have a continuous supply of your drug of choice. You've got to be constantly seeking for more and more, and it just, it keeps you really centered in yourself instead of seeing what's going on around you. And it's hard. And so, it's, you hear all the time, when something, you're struggling with something, people will tell you, oh, quit feeling sorry for yourself, you know and it's difficult not to, especially if you're going through something really difficult. It's hard to look past, you know those strong emotions that you're experiencing. um it's hard not to have a pity party for yourself. It really is. And I find myself, falling into that, every once in a while, as far as, dealing with, I have chronic depression, and I deal with chronic pain, with my fibromyalgia. And on really bad days, I'll find myself, throwing the biggest pity party. And it doesn't help anything. It just makes me feel even worse. And I have to knock myself out of that when I realize that I'm doing it again. Um, but from everything that I read through today, all the different studies that I found and that I read through, um, overall, what I can say is mentally strong people practice gratitude. and it helps them deal with all the negative aspects of their lives. There's 7 things that I found in one of the articles that I read about gratitude. Gives 7 benefits to practicing gratitude. Um, now, let me back up for a second. What do I mean by practicing gratitude? Again, it's one thing I do to practice gratitude is I keep a gratitude journal. And every day I write down anywhere from 3 to 5 things that I am very thankful for. And a lot of times, I just don't write down 3 items. I write about them as well. What is it about this particular one that is so meaningful to me? I spend a lot of time doing that because I know the effect it has up here. That's one way to do it. Being appreciative of things that people do for you and expressing your gratitude to them or showing them your appreciation. That's another way of practicing gratitude. It really is a great mindset to have, is to try to always be thankful for things, as rather than looking at the things that you haven't done yet, or the things where you have failed, or things that you don't have, rather than dwelling on that, looking at it from a more positive point of view, definitely helpful. For the first benefit of gratitude um, that I read about was that gratitude opens up doors for more relationships. And I'm going to say this again, just so nobody ever forgets. The opposite of addiction is connection, those relationships. And I hope you guys heard the story that I told you guys. Oh my goodness, let me make sure I see what's going on there. Okay, anyway, oh boy, guys, I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. um, okay, the opposite of addiction is connection. Yeah, I told you guys that story about my friend that had a what did they call them? Near-death experiences. I mean, well, he died for 45 minutes and then he came back. And, that was the biggest thing um, with him coming out of that, was that he wanted to focus on the relationships in his life, and that whatever he saw on the other side and whomever he spoke with, it was just very apparent to him that, relationships are key to everyone, so anything is, if you're just newly sober, a lot of times as addicts, we'd burn our bridges with people that cared about us. And so, any kind of anything that's going to open those doors, for some good relationships again, that's you definitely want to seek that. But it's important, I think, as addicts, that any kind of relationship that you have, it needs to be authentic. And what I mean by that is that, first of all, you are honest. You are completely honest with the other person in everything, where you're being your true self, and as addicts, that's, especially if you're still in active addiction, that's really difficult. There's a lot of things that you want to hide, and there's a lot of things that you are ashamed of. And that's a hard one, to just be honest. But it is so important for people in relationships to be very honest with each other. And it's also important that the person that you are trying to have this connection with, it's really important that they support you and that they respect your decision to be sober. And a true friend, a true authentic friend is going to be someone who knows your issues and is there has your back, they're not going to come and, at a party, come up and, with an extra drink in hand and try to tempt you to drink. And that's, that's not good. So that's really important, that you have, authentic relationships and that you are honest. But the best way, to open doors for those relationships is to show gratitude. And what was interesting was there was some research done on this. And what they discovered was that if you meet someone new and they have done something for you that you appreciate, or they've done something, they've done something for you, or they've just done something great that you appreciate, letting them know, expressing your gratitude, expressing your appreciation, that's highly likely that if this is a relationship that, that should continue, practicing that appreciation and gratitude, definitely makes it possible for that relationship to continue. And that's what the research showed. And I, for some reason, didn't write down which one that came, which research that came from. But another thing that I was thinking about was, as far as, finding people to have really good relationships with, those honest and authentic relationships, is to observe how this person treats other people. Particularly, say you go out to lunch with this person, watch how they treat the waitress or the busboy, or the hostess. Just notice how they treat those people. I was always impressed with Donald Trump, and the way that he always cared very much for the people that work for him. And he went out of his way to find out about them, to find out about their lives, and to find out, when someone lost a loved one, or, they were in a horrible accident, or, he was always very mindful of making sure that he took care of people and that he knew what was going on in their lives. He was grateful for the services that they provide for him. And he made it, he made a special effort. And that, that impressed me a great deal, because that man has more than enough money, and, has everything he could ever want or need as far as money goes. A lot of people that are in positions like that, they treat everybody underneath them like crap. And that bothers me, when people behave like that. And I have to say, my first husband, there were a few times when we would be out somewhere, if he was in a poor mood, he could be so rude to a waitress or a custodian, or, it just to drive me nuts about it. You can tell a lot by, how people treat people who are, in a position of service. But it's important, no matter who it is, if they do something for you, I think it's very important to say thank you. I mean, it's just manners. I mean, we're taught that when we were just little children, that you use your manners. You say please and you say thank you. I'll tell you what, it goes a long way. I'll tell you, when I was working in the hospital as a nurse, patients that were grateful for what I was doing for them, and those that expressed their appreciation to me, it meant so much to me. And, it really made my day, where if you had and that's hard, in a hospital when people are ill. There's a lot of people that you don't feel well if you are in the hospital. Yeah. Patients have a right to be grumpy. So I really appreciated the people, that were kind in return, and they reciprocated what I was trying to do for them. I was also thinking that, it's not just, new relationships where gratitude can really go a long way. Old relationships. And I have told you guys before, about, I'm with my second husband, and we've been married almost 19 years now. When I first got out of rehab, and for a few years after that, there's quite a bit of time, I didn't know if we were going to remain together. I had done so much damage, and he just didn't know, if he could do it any longer. And, I wanted desperately to change his mind, because I love this man, and I love this man then too, love this man dearly. I didn't want us to separate. He means the world to me. And, after a few years of living in that, just not knowing quite where we stood with one another, and he didn't want to talk about it. I've mentioned this before, but I had made the decision that I was going to treat him as if we were starting over again, or if we were at the beginning again. I was trying to treat him the way that I would react, and the way that I would treat him when we first got together. Because that was a truly wonderful time. And that's what I did. And it took a long time for him to come around. But I made sure that he knew what I was thinking about, and the things I was doing every day. And I was, made sure to thank him for the things that he would do. It did take time, but eventually he started to reciprocate. And now that's something that we both do for one another. We always, with one another, we make it a point to always say thank you, to frequently show our appreciation, and to do little things that show one another that we love each other. It makes a huge difference, that, so like I said, gratitude and appreciation, can do tons to open up the door for new relationships. But look what it can do for old relationships too, and there's only one member of my family, as far as my siblings, that I have not been able to, there's only one that I haven't been able to rebuild that relationship. But it took a lot of, time, and it took a lot of work, and gratitude and appreciation were definitely a part of that. But it helps. Okay. And the second thing, that gratitude is very beneficial for, is, well, actually, I'm going to throw these in together. I'm going to say physical health and your psychological health. And in all of the research that I was looking through, as far as practicing gratitude, what it showed, first of all, was that practicing gratitude helps mitigate a whole host of toxic emotions, things like regret, or wanting to retaliate, or write some of them down. But just think of a toxic emotion. Gratitude can help reduce that, in people that are practicing the gratitude. Now, I don't know if any of you are familiar with a doctor from Canada. I believe he's a general practitioner, and his name's Gabor Mate. And he has done a ton of work and research in trapped emotions, negative, toxic emotions, when they get trapped in your body. When you go through something traumatic, very often negative emotions can get trapped in your body. And I know that sounds a little weird to some people, but in my experience, it's very true. I honestly think that's what is behind my fibromyalgia, is all of the negative stuff that was stored up in my body from the time I was very young. It has a huge impact on your mental fitness and your physical fitness. It really does. And there's been times both my husband and I have experienced this. We go to a foot zoner who, when she does a foot zone on us, can tell if we have any trapped emotions, where they are, what they're related to, and how to get rid of them. And she's, my husband's actually become very good at that too, because you use a form of muscle testing. Because your spirit, your soul, your body, your mind, there's all interconnected. And so that, one affects all the others. And um, my husband's become very good at muscle testing, for himself and for me. If I suddenly have a horrible pain, like I had one in my left hip, a couple of weeks ago, and just wouldn't die. And it was just horrible nerve pain. It was something I hadn't experienced before. And it was out of the blue. So when my husband got home from work, I had him muscle test me to see if it was a trapped emotion, and it was. And I can't remember what the emotion was or why. I can't remember now. It made sense at the time, but I was able to get rid of it and the pain left. And that happens a lot to my husband too. He can get rid of his own. For some reason, I can't muscle test myself, and I don't know why. Anyway, but as I was saying, the gratitude can make a huge impact on your psyche and your physical body, both. And I was telling you this Dr. Gabor Mate, his research, he started into it just because he was noticing in his own patients, the ones that were coming down with things like fibromyalgia and multiple sclerosis and cancer, things like that, they were related to something traumatic that his patients had been through. It really does have a huge impact on you. And overall too, the stuff that I was looking through today, it shows that overall, practicing gratitude will increase your level of happiness and decrease your level of depression. And depression is, honestly, it starts out as a mental illness, but it progresses to a physical illness as well. Depressed people can feel physical pain. They can experience all kinds of physical symptoms because of the mental illness. And gratitude really can help that. They also found that people that are grateful and that practice gratitude tend to take better care of their physical health. They're more mindful of getting exercise, getting outside, to get sunshine and fresh air, and eating properly, and getting their checkups, and having those cancer screens, and all of those kinds of things. People that practice gratitude just seem to take care of that better. They do it more often. And I'll tell you, mental illnesses can quickly encompass and become not just mental but physical, and vice versa. Sometimes if I have a flare, fibromyalgia, and I end up with trying to deal with a lot of pain for days on end, and it just doesn't go anywhere, it really, that physical symptom really starts to affect me mentally. It's really hard sometimes, and I have to knock myself out of it and say, wait a minute, quit thinking about all the things that are wrong and the things that are bothering you. Think about the things that are going right. Think about the things that you are grateful for. And it has a huge impact, huge change on you. Let's see, what else did I okay. Oh, that's where I wrote some of it down. There's a gentleman called Robert Emmons that has done extensive gratitude research, and he's uncovered so many of these facts, and then and in each subsequent research project that he participates in, it just reinforces what he's already found out. Practicing gratitude has multiple benefits for your mental and your physical help. Uh, they help too. If you're dealing with a lot of negativity, practicing that gratitude, it helps decrease that. Definitely. So that was kind of 2 and 3. The fourth one is that research shows that practicing gratitude will enhance your empathy and your sensitivity to other people, and it decreases aggression. There was a study done, it was, let's see, 2012, it was at the University of Kentucky. And let's see, basically what it showed was that people that rank higher on a gratitude scale, they were less likely to retaliate against others, even if that person was receiving negative feedback. It still decreased that, but it had to be somebody that was actively practicing some form of gratitude on a daily basis. But that's huge. Gosh, we see so much negativity, and so many people retaliating, groups one against another. You know what I'm talking about. We've all seen what's been going on in the last few years. And it makes sense, but yeah, I won't even jump into that one. But let's see, it also showed that grateful people, people that practice gratitude are more likely to behave in a pro-social manner, where they obey all of those unspoken rules that we have, like using your manners and things like that. Yeah, people that behave in a pro-social manner, even when they were surrounded with a lot of negative people, people that weren't as kind to them, they were still, even being surrounded by negative people, they were still able to keep their positive outlook going. Let's see. It also showed too in that study that, let's see. Okay, people that practice gratitude, yeah, they increase their sensitivity and their ability to emphasize I can't speak today. Emphasize to have empathy, with towards another person, and when you are, whether you're still in active addiction or you're newly sober, that's a delicate time, and it's a really important time to be practicing gratitude for your outlook. But it's also important that the people around you, be able to be sensitive to what you're going through, and you know to understand, or to put themselves in your place, and maybe in their mind run through what emotions you might be experiencing. And that's what the boat is all about, is those people reaching out and trying to help one another. And some days we have great days, and some days you know days aren't so good. And there are times that we need to boost people, and other times we need to be boosted. um let's see. But yeah, people that practice gratitude are more, they have a better ability um with empathy and being sensitive. And the whole world needs for people to be understanding and sensitive and empathetic to their needs right now. Anyway, the fifth benefit as far as gratitude that they discovered, and this what came from let's see, it was a study that was done in 2011, and it was in the, let's see, Applied Psychology Journal, Health and Wellbeing. And what they discovered was that people that practice gratitude in the form of writing, like spending 15 minutes a day writing about something that they are grateful for. People that did that 15 minutes a day had better sleep. They were able to fall asleep sooner. They were able to stay asleep, and they were able to sleep longer, and the quality of their sleep was better. So, I know that, especially when you are newly sober, sleep is a huge problem. So, anything that might help with that sleep, you want to jump on that. So let's see, the sixth one was that it improves your self-esteem. In 2014, there was a study that was published in the Journal of Applied Sports Psychology. And what they discovered there was that gratitude increases an athlete's self-esteem. And for an athlete's performance, for athletic performance, you got to have good self-esteem. I remembered this when I was a kid. Was I don't know, from about the time I was probably 6 until maybe 13 or 14, I was in gymnastics. And at the beginning of it, I was very good, and I had 2 different coaches that were arguing over which one was going to coach me. And when I was very young, it was something I gave me a lot of self-esteem because I was good at it. I loved it. But then when I was 11 years old, I was in that accident that nearly killed me. And I wasn't able to go back to gymnastics for an entire year before the doctor cleared me and said, okay, go ahead. But that accident, because they had to shave my hair, and I had scars all over my face and all over my body. My self-esteem, it was gone. It was non-existent. And so I remember going back and trying to get back into gymnastics. And one of the things that, besides all the scarring and everything that accident had done, and it also ruined my coordination. I had all the muscle memory. I can remember, I still remember how it feels to do backflips and back handsprings and all of those types of things. But I remember going back, and once I was strong enough again to start doing those things, I couldn't, because my coordination honestly was shot. That muscle memory, what I remembered, it just, something with my coordination just wasn't working right, and I'd slam into the vault and I'd fall off the the uneven bars, things like that. And so I ended up giving it up. But I know that it was my self-esteem that was part of not being able to continue. I eventually I chose not to continue, because I knew that, I wasn't going to get a scholarship or anything out of it for college at that point. But anyway, gratitude increases self-esteem. It also reduces, if you're practicing gratitude, it reduces the occurrence of you comparing your socially to other people, as far as maybe a position at work, or the type of house someone lives in, the car they drive, just the amount of money that they have. It decreases the occurrence of that. Not comparing yourself to other people, and and looking at them and saying, oh well, they have this and I don't. That does not do anything for self-esteem. So let's see, the seventh one that they discovered, and this actually, let's see, one of these things came out in 2006, and this one was out of the Behavior Research and Therapy Journal. And what it showed in their research was that gratitude reduces stress, and it plays a major role in overcoming trauma. Most of us as addicts, there's something traumatic from our past that's happened. And rather than try to work through it and overcome it, we've chosen to mask it, to numb ourselves from feeling it, and it makes sense, because the things that people with addictions, some of the things that they have been through are just horrible, and so it makes sense that you want to numb yourself, and not feel those things, but the problem lies in, doing that day after day after day after day. uh so if, gratitude can help you, you know reduce your stress and help you overcome something traumatic, that's huge. That's huge. um let's see. And anyway, the in 2006 there was the study where they discovered this. They were actually working with Vietnam veterans, and they discovered that the veterans that practiced, higher levels of gratitude, experienced a lower rate of PTSD. That's huge. And how simple is that? To spend a few minutes every day writing about something you're grateful for. That's huge. PTSD, many of us know that's, um, sometimes it's something you deal with your entire life. But, if you have the ability to deal with it better, than you're used to, hey, that's great. And that's such a simple thing to do. I thought that was awesome. Anyway, there's something else that they found from, research that was done in 2003. And let's see, this one was out of the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. And this, was in regards, to people in New York that experienced, um, the attacks, in September of 2001. What they discovered, was that it contributed, practicing gratitude, contributed to your overall resilience, being able to pick up the pieces and move on with your life, and keep going, after something as horrible as what, a lot of those people in New York City saw, when that occurred. And so again, I think that's huge, because it's such a simple thing, but look at the impact, that it has. Um, let's see, what did I write here? I just wrote down, okay, recognizing all that you have to be thankful for, even during the worst of times, fosters resilience. That's what they discovered on that one. So I'm a huge, what's the word I want? I really want to push gratitude. It is very, very, very helpful, um, in fostering, positive outlook up here. Some other things, that I have found personally that help, and I've seen, research backs it up as well. But again, the animals, that's why I wanted to show you those darling little babies. They just, animals make me happy. I love caring for them and feeding them and interacting with them and watching them. And tell you what, get just a bunch of mealworms from, somewhere where you would buy bait, to go fishing. Buy some mealworms and give them to your chickens. And, entertainment, great entertainment right there. But they really do. They are animals for me are. It's not just something. It doesn't just give me something to do, and something to care for. But I get so much from them. They're always a source of unconditional love. They don't care what you look like. They don't care how much money you make. They don't care. As long as you feed them and treat them well, they're going to love you right back. And that does so much for me, especially when I'm in a lot of pain. My mother, she had to put this little dog down, but she used to have a little dog, Georgie. That Georgie and I had a very special relationship. And every time I had a really bad fibromyalgia flare and I was in a lot of pain, I would run to my mom's and get Georgie. There was just something about having her with me that helped. And she could sense it too. My cat always knows when I'm either depressed or I'm in pain. I can tell. He can sense it. You know, animals are wonderful that way, and they add so much to our lives. You know, and if you are an animal lover and you have the ability to keep an animal with you wherever you live, I highly suggest a pet. They're wonderful. Another thing that they have found that really can help rewire your brain, make you feel better, increase your positivity, is you're not going to want to hear this one, but honestly, exercise, working out, even just walking, boosts your endorphins. It boosts all those feel good hormones, and that helps release, dopamine, those feel good, neurotransmitters in your head. They're just so helpful. And they have, studies show too that if you are outside while you're doing your workout, where you're getting fresh air and you're getting real sunlight, you have a better workout. You just feel better overall. And that's why I love running, is because it gets me out regardless of what time of year it is. It gets me out in the fresh air in the sun, and it helps me feel so much better. Let's see. Of course, there are the things that everybody should do as far as, sleep, getting enough sleep, eating well, eating whole foods instead of eating fast food and, or eating processed foods. Those things are just not good for you. And if it's not good for your body, it's going to affect you up here as well. Sleep, diet, exercise, what else? What am I forgetting? All of these things are really important to fostering positivity up here. Another thing that's huge, and again, we have mentioned this before, but making connections with other people, having those authentic relationships, really, really important. It's really important too. Who do you hang out with? Are they positive or are they negative? It has a huge impact on you overall. And also having positive role models is a really important one. And as far as, making connections, having relationships with other people, when you can do something, serve somebody else, do something nice for someone else too. I don't understand it, but it helps tremendously. I know when I'm in a bad flare, instead of sitting on the couch and feeling sorry for myself, if I get my butt up and I go do something nice for somebody else, it takes my mind off of it, so I'm not dwelling on it, and it boosts a lot of things up here that contribute to your overall positivity. Like I said, there's just some things I don't understand really why they work. I just know they work. There's a sweet lady that lives just a few doors over this direction. She's the sweetest lady, and I know her from church, but she just recently had a stroke. So on bad days, if I take something over, take her a treat, or I just go hang out with her for a while, talk to her, just doing something for somebody else, it has a massive effect on you. Let's see. Also, and I talked about this the other day, but forgiveness, again, trying not to harbor resentment against someone else, even if it's warranted. Trying to forgive them. Trying to forgive another person, or to see things from their point of view. All of that, again, it fosters positivity. It helps you feel better about yourself as well. Another thing that I have found that's helped me tremendously is practicing my faith. Worshiping is huge. And I know we kind of try to steer clear of that on this channel, because everybody has a different background. everybody, feel these are highly personal areas, but I would really encourage you, if you know, if you have a faith, participating in worship, um, there's something about it makes a huge difference, and I think it's just connecting to something uh, bigger and more powerful than you, and trying to make that connection. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know, but I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be alive today, let alone sitting here talking to everybody on the lifeboat, without my faith and without my belief in Jesus Christ. I simply would not be here. That's huge. Um, let's see, what else did I write down? Music can be huge. Music can be destructive, but it can have the opposite effect as well. It's been shown in studies, that certain beats and certain chords, when used repetitively over and over again, they can have a negative effect on your thinking, your feeling, your health. I mean, some things can be destructive, but most music, in my opinion, is beneficial. I find too, when I'm angry about something, I just really struggle in expressing anger. If I put on System of a Down and just turn it up really loud and drive for a while and just let my mind wander, it's huge. It's huge in getting rid of those negative emotions. But I use it mostly, though, for the positive aspects, the way that it makes me feel. And there's so much good music, whether it's the melody or the message or a combination of both, there's so much good you can get out of music. Music can be so healing. I know that Gregorian chants, I read a report one time that talked about the healing effects of Gregorian chants. And there's another type of music, and I wrote it down. I know where I wrote it down, and I will find it, because they have shown time after time using this particular type of music, and it was a lot of harp music. I'll make sure I let you guys know what it is. But what they discovered, that using that, like in the ICU, with people that had been through a lot of physical trauma, that it was very healing, healing for here and for the physical body as well. So yeah, music. And I know M Hunt agrees with me on this one. Music's always been a huge part of my life, and I've been trained as a vocalist. I'm a soprano, and I used to perform in a group. We got to travel. We got paid to perform, and we did Balkan folk music. So I know a lot of stuff in Bulgarian, Croatian, things like that. But I love that music, especially because it has such an upbeat melody and beat, and it's just, there's so much positivity in it, and there's a lot of it you can't hear without wanting to dance. And there's something too about singing that raises your vibrations, and it can pull you out of depression. There's just something about singing, and also or if you play a musical instrument, playing that instrument too, it can really raise your vibrations. Let me just run through my notes here. I know that the hour is up, guys. Is there anything that I should have said that I missed? Oh, yes. Another thing that really helps in rewiring your brain to be more positive is in setting goals for yourself, and mapping out or scheduling out when what you're going to do and when you're going to do it to accomplish this goal. Whenever you can do that, and then you meet that goal and you've done it, the sense of accomplishment that you get is huge. Seriously, it's huge. And that's why, one of the reasons why I love running. Running, I know it's hard. Um, I rarely have good runs. They all seem to suck at times for one reason or another. It's not easy, but the fact that I get my butt out there every other day at least and get that run done, um, the exercise, of course, is going to boost things for me, but that sense of accomplishment that I did it again, I did something hard and I did it again, definitely a big help, in rewiring your brain, and I know I have talked about this before, but writing these things down and setting up a schedule for yourself, especially at the beginning of your sobriety, you know, scheduling out your time, keeping yourself busy, in constructive things that you can do, and then turn around and have that sense of accomplishment. Huge, huge boost. Boy, I'm meditation. That was another thing. I've read a lot of research about practicing meditation. That can be in many forms. It could be a guided meditation. It could be something that you have learned to do on your own. It can be prayer. All of those things help rewire your brain and help keep you more positive. I feel like there's something else I'm missing here, but I can't think of what it is. But let me look here and see who all is here. Fee's here. Zenwin, Leisure, John Doe, M. Hunt, Wharton is here. Zenwin, John, Miss V, Virginia, Charles McClellan. I'm not sure how you pronounce this. Accuse eyes. I'm not sure how I say that, but I'm glad you're here. Who else? I'm sorry, I wasn't even paying attention to the chat either. I apologize, guys. That's not good. Brian Michaels, Seventh Son, Dennis N. Who else? Jennifer Rice. I know T Prada's in there somewhere because, yeah, there she is. Don't want to miss saying hello to everybody, but let's see. Miss Dragon. Scott. Oh, wait. Scott Nay. Who else? I'm just glad that you guys, I know you missed Tommy, I miss Tommy. Tommy's awesome and he's so good at doing this. I am not. So guys, I really appreciate you putting up with me and coming and sitting through this and listening to me anyway. I do appreciate it. This helps me so much. Every time I do one of these live streams and I get off, I'm buzzed. Seriously, it's the same feeling I get when I get a runner's high. Oh, Buddha Davis is here. Let's see. I think I already mentioned John Doe. I'm Crazy Brumfield. Hello. Let's see. Who else? Oh, Dennis Brace. Glad you were here. If I've missed saying hello to anybody, I apologize. But yeah, I don't have a basket or a cat nearby, but I did show you chickens, very cute chickens earlier. So anyway, I hope that you guys have a good night. I just want to remind you guys, you are stronger than you think. Seriously. Even if things look, if your whole outlook right now is just 100% discouraging, I promise you, you can get yourself out of this. You can't do it by yourself, but you can do this. I promise you. It's been 15 years for me now. Uh, it's not been easy, but it's been worth it, and I can promise you that. You know, um, Addiction just it destroys everything around us and in us. Um, but you can overcome it. Seriously, if I can do this, trust me, anybody can do this. Because I think of all the people that I know personally. I probably ran from my problems for longer than any of my family members. Thinking about it, and I really did destroy myself. I refused to face what I needed to face for a very long time, and chose to, just numb myself and destroy the lives of everybody, that was in my life. I remember, looking at the world with, didn't have anything. Didn't have money. I didn't have a car. I'd lost my kids for a time. I didn't have anywhere to live. I mean, and I hated myself. I remember being there. I remember how awful it was. And I just couldn't, you know, couldn't see my way out. I couldn't see that there was ever the possibility, of one day being okay. It is possible. It really is. Everybody has good days and everybody has bad days. On a good day, be there for somebody else, because it's going to help them and it's going to help you. On the bad days, reach out to somebody. You know, we are here to support one another, to build each other up, and to show each other just what is possible. So if you're discouraged, do some of these things that I've suggested. Just a simple act of practicing a few minutes of gratitude. The effects are huge. There's a lot of little things, little simple things that you can do, to get yourself started. You can do this. And if anyone needs to reach out to me, my email address is in the description. And I had better shut my trap and get off. I will see you guys again in the morning. I will be back on with you guys in the morning. And oh, Scooby and Mark, I missed you guys. I apologize. I'm glad you guys were here. And Noise Opera, thank you. Thank you for the donations. That will definitely be, it will be going to some good use, to help other people. And once again, I thank you guys. Wish you a good night, and I'll see you in the morning.